If you don't understand human psychology, you will never understand how human beings behave. And a leader should know how people are behaving. You can't just say, my father is a doctor, so I'm a doctor.
Welcome to this another amazing episode of Chanakya Unscripted. Today we are going to discuss about Chanakya's 7 Secrets of Leadership, a very special book of sirs. So welcome to this podcast.
Thank you, Mansi.
So my very first question to you is, there's a very famous saying, leadership is permanent, leaders are not permanent. So could you please share your opinion on this?
A good organization, country, or even a company is the one where every generation has got good leaders. But the challenge is leaders have to retire. Let's say you take a company like, let's say Tata's, or let's say Birla's for that matter. They go on for 3-4 generations. The thing is that every generation will require a kind of a leader, he or she, who will lead the organization. But let's say he or she retires, then what happens? The next leader should also be good, and so the next leader, and so the next leader. So the leadership can change, but leadership and the quality of the organization should not change. So yes, you are right, leaders change, but leadership and the qualities of leaders should not change.
So talking about qualities, Chanakya had mentioned 36 qualities in Arthashastra, out of which you have specified some qualities in this book. Could you please specify that?
Yeah, you are right. Arthashastra of Kautilya or Chanakya is a book of leadership. He is actually selecting leaders or potential leaders like Chandragupta Maurya and training them. Training them on what? The first thing is that you should have the qualities. If you have the qualities, you can develop those qualities.
Yes.
If you don't have those qualities, you can still work on yourself and develop those qualities. In the Arthashastra, which I call a book of leadership and the training of a leader, there are 36 qualities given. You can check Arthashastra. Of course, you are given some of these qualities in the book Chanakya 7 Secrets of Leadership. So I would just take a few of them for the time being. The first one, the highest one, is actually humility. The leader has to be humble. Believe me, friends, you must have also faced this. That a lot of leaders have the positional power. But after getting the position, if they are not humble, they will lose the leadership position. Today's generation does not like dictators. People who command and say, my way is the right way, or you hit the highway. So it's very important that we have leadership qualities like humility.
Correct.
Then Chanakya talks about another leadership quality, which is called intelligent and dynamic. A lot of leaders are intelligent, but they're not dynamic. So they don't know how to put the plans into action. So plan out your work and work out your plan. So Chanakya definitely makes you an intelligent leader, but also a dynamic and actionable leader. The third quality, which is my favorite one, is open door policy. So what is open door policy? The ability to let anyone come and meet you. That doesn't mean gate crash, but you should be able to meet anybody and everybody. Let's say you are a business leader. You should be able to meet the customers. In fact, the success of Amazon is this quality. In fact, Jeff Bezos always says this, I take the customer's feedback very seriously. In fact, he's got a mechanism where he reads all the customers' feedback himself. Now imagine, for one of the richest men in the world, how important it is to be in touch with the last person.
Yes.
So open door policy, let the ideas come to you. And again, one more quality I would like to mention is not breaking a promise. Leaders do over promising and do under delivery. Not good leadership quality. Better to promise less but deliver everything. So सोच समझ के बोलिएगा, as they say, better to promise less and deliver more. So it's very important that whatever you promise, that you deliver. So जिंदगी में अगर आपको लीडर बनना है, so remember there are many qualities. We just mentioned a few of them.
Yes. So leadership without training is very dangerous, like you always tell us in the university as well. So why do you emphasize on this?
The reason is that a lot of people think that I can become a leader and then I don't require training. Especially it happens with people who come from maybe second or third generation. So maybe your parents were already leaders, maybe a political leader, maybe a business leader or any other leader. So you say, okay, listen, I can become a leader, I don't require any training. But it's very dangerous, because if you get the chair and you don't know what to do as a leader, then the leadership position will also go. Therefore, it's very, very important, like you get trained before you become a leader, even if you're born in a leader's family. A simple example will be a doctor. Let's say there's a doctor, a very good doctor. His son or daughter can also become a doctor. But they have to go through that whole training of becoming a doctor. They have to go to a medical college, get the training. You can't just say, my father is a doctor, so I'm a doctor. So why can't it happen in the political field? Unfortunately, many times it happens that, a lot of politicians make their children as leaders. Nothing wrong in that. If they have qualities, they should be made a leader. But very dangerous to make them a leader without training. So training and then you become a leader is very good. But no training and becoming a leader is dangerous.
Okay. So, like you said that, every leader should have right mentors with them. So, how do they find these right mentors?
Chanakya says this very clearly that the biggest problem for a leader is dharma sankat. What to do and what not to do. So, if you look at all leaders, whenever they are in a decision making position, in our university we have a decision making science as a subject.
Yes.
And that's not easy. What to do and what not to do. But imagine if you have a mentor with you. Okay, he will tell you or she will tell you what to do and what not to do. So when you are in dharma sankat, you require a mentor. But I always say the other way around. If you have a mentor, you will never have dharma sankat.
Correct.
So look at the very famous situation of Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna, a great warrior leader, very skilled. In fact, he was the best in his generation. But he had dharma sankat and he said, I don't want to fight. Fortunately, he had a mentor in the name of Sri Krishna with him. And he told him, don't worry, I will tell you what to do and what not to do. So the strategies come from the mentor. And the mentors will tell you what to do at what point of time. Now the next part of the question, Mansi, is about how to select a mentor.
Correct.
So there are 3 things that you should remember. Never have only one mentor. Why should you have only one mentor? If you are fortunate, have multiple mentors also. But choose your mentors carefully. Second quality of a good mentor is that he should be a subject matter expert. I can't ask a history question to a geography teacher. I should know which question I am asking to the mentor.
Correct.
So the quality of the mentor that he should be a subject knowledge expert. The third, he or she should not have a spiritual base and should not be selfish. Okay, suppose you are having a leader under you and you are the mentor. You can actually use the leader to get your work done. Never do that. So the leader should be selfless. The leadership mentor should also be selfless. So what are the qualities you look out for a good mentor? Number 1, have multiple mentors. So that's not a problem today. We get a lot of people, but the experienced people should be consulted. And the third thing is that check whether he or she is selfish or selfless. Only a selfless and spiritual person can be a good mentor.
Wow. So Chanakya was, supposed to be a polymath. He's known as a polymath, and it is said that he understands psychology. So do you think it is important for leaders to understand human psychology before they take up any leadership role?
Very important. In fact, if you don't understand human psychology, you will never understand how human beings behave. And a leader should know how people are behaving. And therefore, my guru, Swami Tejumananji, once told me, before you learn Artha Shastra, learn Samaj Shastra and Manas Shastra.
Wow.
So 3 things. So leadership can be in any position, but you should know what the society wants. Samaj Shastra, sociology. And Chanakya was a sociologist also. He was a person who taught social science to everyone, his students. But very important, Manas Shastra. I am not talking about academic psychology courses, which most of the people are doing today. To become a psychologist or a practicing, consultant for psychological or mental health cases. No. To understand how human beings behave. For example, a leader understands, let's say political leader, that my whole culture of my particular place is, during this particular time, everybody is going to be celebrating a festival. For example, we have Navratri coming up.
Yes.
So in Navratri, especially in major cities in Maharashtra, in Mumbai and in Gujarat, there's a culture of Dandiya and Garba.
Yes.
So imagine a leader understands social psychology, everybody is going to dance.
Correct.
And you'll be surprised if you go around the Navratri time. You can see big politicians organizing it. What is the reason? Because they understand this is where the crowd wants and they want to come and dance.
Correct.
So, yes, you want to be a political leader, but you should understand Samaj Shastra, society. So, all politicians know where the people are moving towards in certain times. So, with Diwali, Dasara or Ganpati, even going back to Ganpati, you saw that, all political leaders were active during the festival. So, that's Samaj Shastra. But Manas Shastra, different people come to you and everybody has got different demands. So let's say there's a simple man coming to you. He may require some money, but you should understand that before you ask for it. Some people want position, some people want power, some people want something else. So even before they ask, if you can understand what is going on in the mind, you can be very effective. So friends, please understand that psychology is not just an academic subject, but the ability to understand the person before he or she speaks it out. So if you're a leader, problem आने से पहले ही समझ में आ जाता है.
So like, is it like, you see what is not being shown, you hear what is not being said, right? Are you trying to say something
Absolutely.
like that?
Absolutely. The same definition we talk about in Anvikshiki.
Yes.
The ability to see what is not shown, to read in between the lines and listen to what is not being said.
Okay.
A lot of people are not expressive, but you have to be understanding, and that comes by understanding human psychology.
Wow. So it is said that, any leader, particularly a CEO, is also meant to be a coach. I mean, how does that relate into leadership?
In fact, it's the other way around.
Okay.
If you want to be a good CEO, you have to be a good coach also.
And why is that?
There's a reason for that, because let's say CEO is the number one position. But what happens again, the first question that you ask, the CEO will also retire one day.
Correct.
So what is happening? He has to create the level 2 among his people. So he has to be a coach also. So you may have a lot of experience, power, but train somebody else to take up your position. A lot of CEOs don't like it. They say, no, if the other person becomes better than me, then what will happen to me? I always say the other way around. If somebody is better than you, you can also get promoted.
Yes.
So CEOs, I always advise my CEO friends, clients, students, one thing. Every day, 1 hour, please spend with your team mentoring them.
Every day?
Every day. And it's not difficult, because if you're in office for 8 hours, let's say, 1 hour is not a small thing.
Correct.
I mean, it can be managed, right? So my suggestion, and imagine you multiply it by, let's say, 5 days a week. So you have spent 5 hours in mentoring, and the people will start trusting you a lot. And you don't have to spend time with only the same person again and again. For example, let's say many companies, CEOs have 5, let's say, departmental heads. One is a finance head, one is a marketing head, one could be an IT head, one could be a social media head, and one should be maybe, let's say, a head of maybe sales. So you can call everybody and spend 1 hour. Please understand, it's reverse mentoring also. When you sit down with the finance guy, he may tell you the latest trends.
Correct.
When you're sitting with a social media expert, like what you did today, you actually told me. So you may feel that, I am mentoring you, but other way you also mentored me. Saying that we should be on blogs, we should do more podcasts. So look forward, friends. When you're mentoring somebody, it's a great opportunity to get mentored also. Thank you, Mansi.
Thank you, sir. So we spoke about Swami, that is leadership. We spoke about Amartya, CEO. Now coming to Janpad. I have seen a lot of startups fail because they don't target the right kind of clients and the customers. What is Chanakya's perspective in this?
It's very easy. Again, if you understand human psychology. But if you don't understand human psychology, your customers will also go away. So, I'll tell you, Chanakya says this very clearly. Praja sukhe sukham rajnyaha prajanam cha hite hitam. It's a very powerful, very, very powerful psychological statement. If the praja is happy, then you are happy. If the praja is not happy, you cannot be happy. How do you do that in the business world? It's called customer-centric approach. So if your customers are happy, then the company will do well. And this formula has been applied by Amazon. If you listen to the videos and interviews of Jeff Bezos, he always says ours is the most customer-centric company. So if you look at Amazon, you are buying something. There is something called a wish list. Then you don't have the money or the time or the will to buy now, but you put it on the wish list. Amazon knows customer psychology.
Correct.
And tomorrow it will always pop you up and saying that, okay, this product is available on this discount. So that is being customer centric. But customer centricity is not just about making money. It's also giving them the experience. So many CEOs don't understand how to make the customers happy. I'll give one simple example. Customers can give you feedback, good or bad. You should be able to take it in the right spirit.
Correct.
I remember I had gone to a shop to buy a shirt. So I wanted to buy some formal shirts. I went to a shop and I was selecting. And you'll be surprised, one lady came in when I was doing my, window shopping. Not yet decided. I was just discussing which material, what is the range and all those things I was just doing. I had not decided. One lady comes in with a bag of shirts and she starts shouting at the owner of the shop. And she said, yesterday I took this, but it's not fitting and all that, the button toota hua hai. So, can you replace it? And can you believe that particular shop owner said, I can't. And she again started shouting that it's not 1 or 2. I bought 10 shirts. Okay, I'm only returning 2 of them because it's not fitting. So please replace. She said, no, it's your problem. Now, you know what happened? 2 things. Anyway, that lady will never come back. He's lost that customer, but I did not purchase. He lost 2 customers. Because looking at her, I started feeling that, okay, if this is the way he behaves to a customer, tomorrow if I take this shirt, any shirt from that shop, and I come back and say, please replace it for whatever reason, he may tell no. So many times what happens when you say no to one customer, you are actually losing another customer also.
Correct.
And what does Amazon do? Why do I tell about Amazon again and again? Because I've seen that yourself and most of you must have experienced. Suppose you have a problem. They immediately say, take the money back or replace it or keep it. We do not charge for you, right? So it is not about money but making the customer happy and delightful. Remember one thing, Chanakya says every time the customer may not be right. But to make him feel that you are right is a leadership role.
Wow.
Every time the customer may not be right. For example, customer can tell, that you are not doing this right or you can decide. But make him feel like, okay, fine, I listen to you, I accept you. In fact, Chanakya says that har praja sahi nahi hota because every praja or the citizens may not follow what is called as praja dharma. Like for example, many people don't pay taxes.
Yeah.
That is not right. And they come and demand from the government, you have not done your duty. But as a Raja Dharma, you have to listen to everyone. So whether he is a criminal or a good citizen, you have to listen to them. Your Raja Dharma is being open to everyone, but your Praja Dharma is to be committed to the country and do your duty.
Correct. And word of mouth is very powerful. That's an organic way of marketing your business as well.
Yes.
So yes, customers are very important.
And today with the internet, everybody can put about their reviews openly on the internet also.
Exactly. And it takes, negativity spreads more faster than positivity. So,
Mansi, I've been very fortunate. Thanks to all of you who are listening. If you go and check on Google the reviews that we get, it's amazing.
Yes.
So I would say other way around also. If you are actually genuinely committed to the work that you are doing, not only negativity spreads fast, even positivity also spreads fast.
Yes.
So I've been fortunate that a lot of people are putting good reviews. Thanks to all of you. Watch it, like it, and also subscribe to it. Thank you.
So Swami Amartya Janpat. Now coming to Durga. In those days there was no internet, but now we have internet. So how can you relate Durga in today's times?
See, Durga in the olden day, what Chanakya was talking about is the fortified city. It's like building a fort where external people cannot attack you.
Yes.
So that's a strong Durga or fort. But inside also you should be strong. In the cities, if you go where there are olden forts like Kota, or if you go to Aurangabad, or go to Hyderabad, there are forts inside. If you go to study them, inside there was a complete habitat. There were water bodies, there were houses. The king used to stay inside the fort. So in today's generation, if you look at an office as a Durga, let's say we are sitting in a beautiful office.
Yes.
Not only outside it should be good, inside also it should be good. So first part is the design. You can see the Saptanga design here.
Yes.
Not only that, the chairs that you select, the design, the kind of air conditioning that you have, that's very physical. But the other side is also equally true. You should have good internet connection. Imagine I'm sitting over there, I'm sitting on my laptop or mobile, but there is no Wi-Fi. What is the point? I can't be productive. When we were young, that time there was no Wi-Fi and all those things, but electricity was a problem. Imagine going to office and out of 8 hours, 6 hours there is no electricity. So what kind of a Durga is it? Today we say, today Wi-Fi is a minimum requirement. You can work from anywhere.
Correct.
So digital, but very important part of Durga is also the culture that you bring in to the organization. People should be happy. I always follow this formula, your employees should be happy and healthy. Okay, so please think about it. How do you make your Durga soft? Culturally also better. So soft is yes, your Wi-Fi, your connections, your laptop, they should be working fine. In the digital world today, you also need to have good activity on the social media. So it's not about saying that मेरे पास Wi-Fi है, but if you are having, let's say, a social media account on Instagram or a LinkedIn or a YouTube, how effectively are you using it? I know I have traveled so many countries in the world. People have actually watched me on the internet more than they actually watch me. And thanks to all of you who create these videos. So friends, never limit yourself to the digital world to a physical office, but the physical office should be equipped to handle good digital platform also.
Correct. So I'm sure a lot of viewers don't know this, but your office, Chanakya Neeti Private Limited, is based on the 7 pillars. So how did this idea come up?
So I request all of you to please come to my office and meet our team. We have a wonderful team. Okay. So it's a small office. In Mumbai, getting an office itself is a big thing.
Yes.
Fortunately, we have a good physical office and my guru actually came and inaugurated this office.
Wow.
Now, 2-3 things about this particular office. This is based out of Mumbai, as many of you know. You can check our website,
Yes.
Chanakya Neeti Private Limited.
Yes.
And the second thing is that even though it's a small office, it is actually designed by one of my students. So our MALS batch, Seema Puranik, and she's an engineer and an interior designer. And I like females. who are actually having the leadership positions. So she took a lot of time to design this office. I'll tell you something about this office. You can check our videos also.
Yes.
This office, even though is small, is divided into 7 parts. The Sapta means 7, Anga means parts.
Yes.
So what you are seeing right now is my cabin, which has got the Saptanga model. But there are 6 more cabins, and each of them is been designed uniquely.
Yes.
So if you come to the reception area, that's a different design. The place where all my team sits, that's different. There got a Bhagavad Gita concept. In the reception area, we got a concept of Anvekshiki
Yes.
with the lighting of diya. In the area where all the team sits, we got the Yoga Karmasu Kaushalam. So it's a Bhagavad Gita concept. The third one is actually a conference room. And you'll be surprised if you look up, you'll actually find an Om. So it's a thinking area. The fourth is an open area where we have nothing. In Bombay, every inch counts. But my designer, my student Seema said, no, you should have open space. Believe me, if you look at that space, it may look unutilized, but you got a lot of positive energy. The fourth one is our CEO Pranav Patel, his cabin, and that design is of a temple. So if you've seen his videos, and you'll find him doing it. So that's a different concept. The fifth one is actually my wife's cabin. So the sixth one, it's where she's a Bharatanatyam teacher and dancer. So her concept is actually very feminine. And of course, my office is about Saptanga. You got the chess concept over here.
Yes.
So imagine one office, 7 designs. And of course, you got the Swami, Amata, Janapada, Durga, Kosha, Danda, Mitra here also. So please, whenever you create your office, and I always suggest everybody to have a physical office. You can be small, but you can be beautiful. So create beauty. And the last part, whenever you look out from my cabin, you'll be surprised that you will see a good forest view and a mountain view. Yes, we are lucky that instead of being in a metro city, we got God's creation and man's creation. So man, we have designed this office, but we can actually see the mountains, which is the forest part of Bombay, and so we are lucky to have a good view. So remember, whenever you create an office, look at all aesthetics, productivity, and make it a happy office.
And it's such a blissful moment. We are shooting a podcast in this office.
Yeah, the first time we're doing it. Thanks to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Sir, coming back to the Saptang, the 5th pillar, Kosha. I remember you teaching us in the university that any entrepreneur or leader has to first understand the financial acumens before getting into wealth creation. So why do you emphasize on this?
Remember one thing, we're talking about business. The dharma, the duty of a businessman is to create wealth. A lot of people, especially entrepreneurs, young generation, college going kids have this problem. Let's start a company. And then they get stuck. And I've seen, reports telling that 95% of the startups fail.
Yes.
Why? Not because the idea was bad, but the idea could not be converted into money. And you know what they do? They actually put their own money, or they maybe even get money from the investors, like angel investors. But that is not enough. So I always say that, don't fall in love with your idea. Get mentored in your idea.
Wow.
Okay. So if you have a good idea, take a mentor. He will tell you or she will tell you how to work on it. But finally, the crux of it is that did you create cash flows, money? If you don't have that, what is the point? I have seen a lot of people being calling themselves serial entrepreneurs. They start one thing, start another thing, third thing. And then when you look back, if all of them are successful, it is okay. But they actually fail in one business, try another business, fail in that, try the third one, fail in that. Then I say, why is the problem? Because they don't know how to make money from their ideas. So it's very, very important that you develop the financial acumen. And Chanakya says about Kosha, the Kosha should not be full. It should be overflowing. Kosha means treasury. Let's say you have a treasury box and it can take, let's say, 100 coins. Say, don't fill in 100 coins, you should have more. So good business is the one which can invest into other businesses.
Wow.
So it's very important that you understand financial acumen. I've seen a lot of communities in India, the Gujarati community, the Marwadi community, the Kutchi community. Now what they have is that they may not be highly educated. Of course, they are educated now. A lot of their children are going abroad, studying and coming back. But they have something called as financial acumen in their DNA. They can say, जैसे हिंदी में कहते हैं आंकड़ों में बात करो. They're very good in their numbers. Unfortunately, we have lost the strength in our India. That we are good in maths, we are good in numbers. We are the wealthiest country in the world because we knew how to manage our finance. And Chanakya was telling us how to make our company, our country very rich. So develop the financial acumen. Get mentored by people who have made money themselves in the ethical way. And you will also develop that financial acumen.
So a lot of startups, they want to be mentored, okay? But probably they don't have awareness or right mentors. In this case, what would you advise them?
See, there are 3 steps that you can follow. Number 1 is that if you get a mentor directly, you are lucky. So, and let me tell you, in today's generation, it's very easy to get a mentor from your field. For example, you are a startup, let's say in the edutech field. Okay, you just sit on your LinkedIn account and just search for, experienced people in the edutech field. And today you don't have to go through a secretary to get an appointment.
Correct.
You can just, connect on LinkedIn and send him or her a request.
Correct.
Say, sir, I would like to come and meet you. And let me tell you, 9 out of 10 of them like to actually mentor the young generation. So, the simplest thing is to get an expert, and there are no barriers. Use technology, use social media, get in touch with them. Get a connect and request. And let me tell you, I have so many young boys and girls who come here. I never tell now. So, it is very, very important that we actually connect to the real mentors directly, if possible, through some contact or through some reference. If you don't get a direct mentor, there is a second way of doing it. Be surrounded by people who actually are successful business people. Okay, so they may not mentor you, but there are a lot of programs that happens where you can go network with them, listen to them. Like a lot of conferences happen. Today, there will be 7-8 experts who are speaking on the dais. You can go and participate in such conferences or seminars and listen to their views. So you will get indirect mentoring. The third thing that you can do is to listen to their podcasts, their videos, read their books, look at their YouTubes. So again, that's not the best option, but I would say that at least that is available. Exactly. So let's say I want to get mentored by Narayan Murthy. And just give an example. Believe me, our team actually got in touch with Narayan Murthy and he called us. So there's a movie that we made called Chanakya Speaks. You can Google it, where we actually got a chance to go to Narayan Murthy. He invited us to his house and we video shot the whole thing for the film. So imagine our team wrote to him and he said yes. I know some of my students who actually got mentored directly by Ratan Tata. Yeah, so never think that mentors are not available. In fact, they are available. You don't approach them. So first thing is approach them directly. Second, if you don't, simple. Go to conferences. You will see a lot of social media and post about this conference, that conference. Go and physically participate.
Correct.
If not, there are so many books. Like, I was fortunate to read books of Narayan Murthy before I met him.
Wow.
So read books, listen to the videos, and today WhatsApp and so many other platforms are there.
Yes.
So mentors are available. You be available for mentors.
Wow. So talking about the 6th pillar, Danda, it is said that team training is very important, but even startups fail when they don't train their teams. Even a lot of big organizations, the top management is getting trained, but the team is not getting trained. So what is your perspective on this?
See, there are 3 types of companies. The first is startups. The second is, let's say, SME sector. And third is very organized corporates or multinationals.
Yes.
I never find the problem with big companies because they have budgets, they have an HR team.
Yes.
So they will organize training programs, mentoring. Today, mentoring is a buzzword in HR fraternity. So, but they are big companies. What if you are an SME? Let's say you got 10-15 people, you are a small business, you don't have an HR team. It's okay. You be a mentor.
Wow.
So if you're the CEO of a company with 10-15 people, spend time with them, talk to them. You have to take the initiative. So don't let it, wait for a time when the HR is formed and then you start training or mentoring. You are the mentor first. And the last, especially, is the startups. I'll tell you one thing, startups have this big problem that, a lot of team members leave them when they get a job. I said, the best way to build your team is to spend time with them. When you're a startup, you have a lot of time. Maybe you don't have money in the initial stages. But afterwards, what happens when work becomes bigger, you may not have that time. So spend time with your team, be transparent with them, take feedbacks. So I would say that in anybody at any level, be it big, small or medium, whichever level you can build your team. But the first thing is that you should have time commitment to spend time with the team and mentor them.
Correct.
So you are the first mentor to become a great team leader.
So it's like leaders creating more leaders.
Leaders should create more leaders.
Leaders should create, absolutely. So coming back to the 7th pillar, Mitra. So it is said that, we are the average of 5 people we surround ourselves with. And Chanakya says you should have advisors who should not have self-interest. So how do you find such people?
No, as again I told you, there are a lot of selfless people.
Yes.
I'll give you a formula. Try to get mentors who are above 50 or 60 years of old. I'll tell you the reason why. Because number one, after 50, they don't have any selfish interest. Generally in Indian society, such people are semi-retired. Or after 60, they are fully retired.
Correct.
They have the time, they have the experience, but nobody actually values them. I always tell my clients, if you don't have time or money to pay to very experienced people, make a list of people who are retired in that field.
Wow.
So it's easy. Nobody approaches them. वो तो बोलते हैं घर वाले भी उनको पूछते नहीं हैं. they will give you free advice and they feel, my experience is valued.
Correct.
So the best way to get mentored is go to people who are beyond that age group. If you are taking somebody who's in 30s or 40s, they may be very busy. They may not have the time. So as long as those mentors are having more time and healthy, they will mentor you.
Wow. So second last question. A lot of women leaders, aspire to be entrepreneurs. Do you think Saptang can help them?
In fact, I always say in my lectures that Swami can be Swamini also. And Saptanga model is not gender biased.
Yes.
So a lot of people say Chanakya only promoted Chandragupta Maurya. No, he had a lot of women leaders also. So Saptanga is relevant not only to male but female and also to transgender.
Wow.
So why not? Tomorrow's generation we can even have transgender leaders. So it's beyond genders.
Okay. So last question. So do you think by any chance our Honorable Prime Minister has applied Saptang?
According to me, yes. Not directly but indirectly. So let me put it how I look at it, because I had the chance of meeting him many times.
Yes.
And I believe that he's directly or indirectly following Chanakya. Now look at the Saptanga model. Swami himself believes as a leader that he has to improve.
Yes.
And you can listen to so many of his speeches. Sometimes he speaks in local languages. If you go to Kerala, he'll speak a little bit in Malayalam. Tuta puta. Okay, of course, when he's in Gujarati, he only speaks in Gujarati. When he goes to Tamil Nadu, at least attempts.
Yes.
In fact, that is a quality that Chanakya said, that Swami should be ever learning.
Wow.
And the more languages you learn, it's good. Amatya, he's got a good team of cabinet ministers. And he chooses the cabinet ministers himself. Amatya. Janapada, he always talks in his speeches about 1.3 billion people. Meri Praja, especially his speeches to the public are very profound. Swami Amatya Durga, he's building ports, infrastructures. So you can see that, our roads, highways, everything.
Yes.
And he's also a digital person, so digital infrastructure. Kosha, I think very clearly is focused on making India an economic capital.
Yes.
And not only directly but indirectly using tools like Digital India.
Yes.
Of course, he's already third largest economy of the world. So Kosha is his focus. Danda, you can see him going to all the army camps, navy camps. And especially on Diwali, you will see him going to some army place very remote, maybe in a Himalaya or somewhere in a forest. That shows his importance. And we recently even had INS Vikrant. So his importance to army. And army is also getting the confidence we have a good Swami. Danda and Mitra, foreign policies. So one of his cabinet ministers is of course Jai Shankarji, who is a foreign policy maker and going, and we are one of the most happening countries in the world because of our Mitra. So yes, according to me, this Prime Minister is definitely working on the Saptanga model. He may not call it a Saptanga model, but I believe I can see it from a Saptanga angle.
Wow, that's a very different perspective. So, one last thing I would want you to ask is any message for our viewers who want to attend Saptang course?
Please attend it. It's going to be live.
Yes.
But before that, if you want to know what is Chanakya, please look at our videos available on our Chanakya Anvikshiki website. Lot of videos are there. Hours of videos are there. So Saptanga model has transformed my life. Imagine I have an office based on Saptanga model. You can create your life based on Saptanga model.
Yes.
So whether you want to be a businessman or no, the Saptanga model applies to everyone. So don't think it's only about entrepreneurship. It's about being a leader in whichever field you want. So please attend the course. I'm going to be personally there along with Pranav sir. So yes, a 3-day program live. It is not a recorded program. And I look forward for all of you participating. And believe me, Chanakya has got that whole wisdom which is relevant in our generation also today.
Yes.
So that's my message.
Thank you so much. I hope you loved today's podcast. If you want to attend this course, there's a link in the description. And please like, share and subscribe. Thank you so much.